So I was just meditating before I hopped on to do this episode, and I heard this is going to be the best episode you have recorded yet. So I'm really excited about this. We're talking about how to navigate a new identity. I've been seeing a lot of this in the space, and I feel as a collective right now, so many people are shifting and so many people are resisting this shift. So before I go any further, I can already tell Laura's ready to freaking jump out of my mouth. I'm going to call forward Laura. We're going to channel this episode, and it's going to be around how to navigate a new identity. So if that is interesting to you, then please stay along and listen. And I am so excited for this. As I was meditating, I got these weird head chills. If you're watching the video, you can see where I'm pointing to on the left side of my head from the top to like the bottom of my skull. Very odd. Doesn't happen to me often. But if you're new here, my chills are a very good sign. A very, very good sign and a very validating sign. So let me call forward Laura and let's get down to business. So navigating a new identity. This could be you are very well known in whatever industry you're in, and you are shifting out of the identity of being forward facing and maybe to something a little more behind the scenes. Maybe you just got married and you're walking in this new identity of being a husband or a wife. Maybe you just had a child and you're navigating this new identity of being a mom or a dad. This is relatable to so many different situations. So I want you to call forward whatever situation that you feel you are about to navigate a new identity in, or you currently are navigating a new identity in. And I want to give you a second to just get grounded in that and set an intention. So let's do that together. And now let's talk about it. And I'm going to talk a lot about what I see just through my clients in terms of shifting this identity. And I really hope it's relatable to you guys and myself as well. And obviously Laura will chime in too. But the biggest shift that is happening right now is that people are being called into a different space. Now, this means different things for different people, and trust your intuition to tell you what that means for you. But the biggest block is that so many people are resisting it. And I can absolutely confirm, and with Laura here as backup, there are so many things in your life that are not meant to last forever. They're not meant to last forever. But our ego steps in, and we allow the ego to be in the driver's seat, and we make these things that have served our purpose in our life stay longer because we don't know how to shed it, or we feel like it should be there for the rest of our lives. So let's say that you're really well known in the space. You know, I have a client right now who's on sabbatical. I'm going to do another episode on sabbatical. She was so well known in the space, made millions and millions and millions of dollars in the online industry, and held on to the position that she was in for too long, right? Because she felt like she should. But if you are being called to step into a new identity, I deeply urge you to follow that. And here's what that could look like, right? Maybe you're getting these intuitive pulls. Maybe, let's say you own a business. And let's just say you're really well known in the space, and you go to show up on your stories like you normally do. You have a massive audience on there. And every single time you grab your phone, you have like this visceral reaction to it, right? Maybe your stomach turns, maybe your energy shifts, maybe your body tenses, and you don't realize why. But here's what's happening. Your inner being, your intuition, your inner self, whatever word you resonate with, your gut, it's trying to tell you this is no longer serving you. And I just had a release there, which is why I paused. And another one. This is no longer serving you. Your body is your biggest superpower. And it is constantly telling you what is aligned and what isn't. But so often we ignore what is aligned because we're like subconsciously afraid to go down that route, right? And so we keep having these visceral reactions where our body gets physically sick, right? Or our mind is just we are so burnt out. However you want to describe it, whatever experience you have. That is your body telling you that it's time for you to step into this new identity and to accept this new identity. And the biggest point that I want to mention again, that I want to get across here, is that there are a lot of things that are not meant to last forever. The job that you are in now, I can almost guarantee you is not going to be the job that you're going to be in your 60s, if you choose to have a job then. It may not be the same job that you're in next week. Don't resist the pivot. Don't resist the pivot. There is going to be fear that is going to overwhelm you and consume you. And the reason why that happens is because your inner bully, whatever you want to call it, is going to latch on for dear life to make sure you don't go down that route, because it knows the amount of abundance on the other side. And not just financial abundance, that's only a sliver of it. The time, the freedom, the joy, the fulfillment. You navigate this new identity by surrendering to it. And releasing how? Releasing the how. You navigate this by surrendering to it and releasing the how. That's how you do this. There's no one size fits all, right? That's why I work with people for 6 months, because there's literally no one size fits all. We've got to find what works for you in navigating this new identity. But it's safe for you to step into this new space. It's safe for you to go on sabbatical. It's safe for you to pull back from your business. It's safe for you to shut down your business. It is safe for you to become a parent. It is safe for you to become a husband or a wife. Any identity that you're navigating, that you felt called to, it's safe for you to navigate. Now it's just the game of making your body feel safe, of looking at the ego. This all comes down to the ego, guys. And in case you're new to this spiritual journey, right? Your ego is your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It's where we harvest all of our self-doubt, negativity, fears, anxieties. They're right there in the ego. And I can't tell you the amount of people I meet, the moment I channel them, I see a car and their ego is in the driver's seat. Their ego is in the driver's seat. And the ego has so much purpose. It is such a beautiful thing because it shows you what is out of alignment. The ego is so necessary, and it serves a beautiful purpose in every single one of your lives. Every single one of your lives. And it's to show you what is out of alignment. And when you look at that ego and you move it from the driver's seat to the passenger seat or in the back seat of the car, your alignment is then in the driver's seat. Your soul, who you are, your natural being, is in that driver's seat. And that is what your intuition has been calling you to do as you navigate into this new identity, right? Maybe you've made millions and millions and millions of dollars in your day. And now you can feel that fear of moving the ego into the passenger seat. And that can look like you stepping away from your business. Maybe you've had all these visceral reactions, these physical reactions, these gut feelings that it's time to make a big move in your business here. And your ego has been in that driver's seat for so long that now you know that there is no other choice but to push it to the side. Doesn't mean that fears aren't going to come up. They absolutely are, and they're normal and they're natural. But what you are being called to do in this moment is to look those fears straight in the face and release them. You work through them, you release them. So how do you release them? 3 steps. Step number 1, the awareness. You're aware of what it is, what this blockage is, what is in your ego that is not in alignment with your soul and who you truly are. Now, this does not mean just scratching the surface. Like, this step is so unbelievably important because you have to get down to the root, the root cause, not just I'm afraid of walking away because I don't know where the money's going to come from. We've got to go way down in the ground there to see where that first originated. How do you do that? Many different ways. For me, in the work I do with my clients, it's through channeling. I'm brought all the way back through their childhood to the point where they're absolute infants, and I can figure out where that started, who it was from, why it was there, why that person said it, and how to get it out. You can do it through hypnotherapy. You can do it through meditation. There's so many different ways. It's about finding what works for you and what aligns most with you. Number 1, awareness. Number 2 is acknowledgement. So this is where I say it's time to consciously connect the dots. So let's say, just kind of using a loose one here, that you're afraid of where the money's going to come in. And let's say you grew up and your parents' financial situation was up and down. There wasn't any stability financially, and that is the awareness there. So now, and I just had a release there, which is kind of funny. Now it's the acknowledgement phase. So what that means is I want you to consciously acknowledge when that fear is coming about. Because so often we do this subconsciously and obviously not realizing, because we don't know what we're doing subconsciously. Or we are doing it consciously and we're just not connecting the dots. So for example, let's say, even though you have millions of dollars, you're thinking about walking away from the business and you're afraid where the money's going to come in. Let's say you go grocery shopping. The total's $350, you swipe the card, and you don't even realize that you're questioning paying that in your mind. I see this all the time with people who have boatloads of money, right? Where they're like, oh shit, should I have done that? Because if I walk away from the business, I need to save all my money, because then where's my money going to come from? AKA scarcity, AKA ego, AKA being out of alignment. So you consciously connect those dots, and you may have to do it 1,000,000 times a day at first. That's so normal. The third is then the release. How do we release it? Well, for me, with my clients, I ask their higher selves, and then they speak through me and we guide them through. It could be through a tapping, a meditation, a conversation. It is so different for every single person that I can't even give a solid example there. But how do you figure that out for yourself? You ask your intuition. Because your intuition will tell you. It will always, always, always tell you. You can ask it to give you a download, a nudge. You can ask it specifically, whatever works for you. And then you release it. And that doesn't mean that you release it in the first time. So let's say that your intuition tells you to tap. EFT tapping, whether you hire someone, whether you go on YouTube and find a video and you start tapping. It does not mean that the first time you begin tapping, it's going to be out of your system. It may take you 100 times. The healing journey is a freaking process, guys. There is no quick, easy solution, and I wish there was. And my hope with this podcast is that I can expedite all of this for you guys by sharing this wisdom, but I really want to manage the expectations that this takes time. This takes time. So that is how you begin to look at the ego. But you guys really want to know why the ego is there? What I've learned here? It's because we try to control the how. And especially I notice this in the very successful people that I work with. They had control of the how for so long. They had control of the how for so long, right? They had the strategy, they made the money, they built the community, they had all that. They have all that, right? It's sitting there. But there becomes a point in every single person's life that I have ever met that at some point, and I don't know when it's going to be, right? It's different for everyone, but the universe starts to slow things down for you. Because they know that you're ready to release that control. And I usually see this in two different pools, right? Let's talk about it in relation to business. People who either do not scale at first. It takes them years to scale. That was me. Didn't make money for the longest time. You guys have heard me tell that story a billion times. And through that journey, right, they learn a shit ton. They have to heal all of the wounds, right? Release the control, really learn how to surrender all of the things, right? And I find that those people are big healers, right? And then there are people who have scaled really, really, really fast, made a boatload of money, and then realized, wow, this isn't what I wanted. And then as they have that realization, things start to slow down and they start to pull back. And I find that those people are incredibly influential people who are here to lead by example, right? And there's a release. They're here to lead by example because their energy is so influential that they could just walk into Starbucks without even having a following. And it would affect in the most beautiful way people's energy, right? People can just sense them in the room. So obviously that's not the exact case for every single person, but collectively that is the theme that I tend to see. And so you can kind of bucket yourself into one of those two, even though I hate putting people into buckets. So maybe don't do that. I kind of regret saying that, but if one resonates with you, then take it. And if not, just know you are a unique human being and every single situation is different. That's just a common theme. But it's the control. It is releasing the how. And as you step into this new identity, you're being called to release how you're going to make this work, how your reputation's going to be, how people are going to perceive you. You're being called to throw your hands up and surrender to it and not know how it's going to unfold, but to go and know that you're deeply supported, that the universe is right there, that your intuition would have never led you down this path if it was not aligned for you, that your body would have not physically shut down as you were living in your old identity, right? If this new one was not for you. I see that so often. People's bodies literally shut down, whether they get an autoimmune disease, everything in the book, right? Your body is guiding you to this path of alignment. So go and know that this is the path for you, regardless of how many tough conversations you have to have, or identities that you have to release, or things that you have to heal. You are exactly where you're meant to be in this new identity. So don't give up hope. Go for it. Go all in and have fun. Have fun while you're in it, right? Navigate what you're being called to navigate. Heal what you're being called to heal. Explore what you're being called to explore. And just throw your hands up and say, take me. Just like you're going on a roller coaster like you did when you were a little kid. Get on that little roller coaster, throw your hands up, buckle yourself in and say, take me. Take me. I don't know how fast I'm going. I don't know how slow I'm going. I don't know how many turns I'm going to take, but I'm ready to go. So take me. I really hope this was helpful for you guys. I love you so much. Thank you for listening.